Okay, so I always wondered about this whole Reddit thing. I may not be 25 years old anymore, and I am not on all of the social media accounts, but I've been looking at Reddit stories and listening to some of the Reddit stories when people tell them. And so I was always intrigued by who listens to people read Reddit stories. And so I wonder what the difference is in reading Reddit scam stories. Is it supposed to be to get my take on it and my reaction? I understand people's fear, and that's a lot of these posts on here. People react with fear, and no matter what, even if we're fraud professionals, investigators, and something happens and comes across our desk that's related to our own personal finances, yeah, our stomach is in knots and we're like, oh my God, now we got to deal with this. What the heck? But we go after them with everything we know and we got. With other individuals, everything is based upon fear and they don't know what to do. So the first thing is, if you have a gut feeling that's telling you that something just isn't right, it isn't right. Go with your gut feeling, because what do you have to lose if you stop it at that point and don't let it progress forward? If you ignore your gut feeling and you go forward, whether it's an email, it's phishing, it's somebody calls you and pretends to be your grandson that's getting kidnapped in Tijuana, these things are fear-based. So you need to go with your gut instinct. You need to think, calm down, and try to go around and find a solution or an answer before you react. Your reaction is what causes you to lose money. Okay, so here's the first one. It's called, What If I Get Scammed? Other than financial responsibility, can someone get in real legal trouble if they fall victim to a scam and deposit a check or a transfer? Honestly, on something like this, it really depends on how culpable you are with it. If you have any indication that you might be getting scammed and you deposit the check, then yes, you're, number one, being an idiot by depositing the check, because it's going to come back bounced. You're going to be the one responsible for the bounced checks fees. You could be charged with money laundering. You could be charged with wire transfer fraud. There's many things that could go terribly wrong with this. And as a CFE, what I learn in my line of work is when somebody asks questions like this, they're trying to touch the stove to see if it's hot, to see if, well, somebody else told me that I wouldn't get in trouble, therefore I'm going to do it anyways, even though I know the outcome, because they're trying to get away with something. Obviously, some of these scams, what happens is if somebody is willingly depositing a check into their bank account, knowing that the check is most likely bad, they go and they take the money before the bank finds out, and then they close the account. Then they're committing fraud, absolutely. So at what point is this question a legitimate question, or is it a legitimate question for somebody who's trying to test the waters to see what they can get away with? I would say that this person who posted this was trying to figure out if he's going to get in trouble because he knows he got a check that's fraudulent and he's going to try to get the money and keep it. That's just my perspective. Let me see what else I can find. So this next one, it says, didn't purchase anything but got this message. Should I be worried? The text message says, your card has been charged for a total of $1,942. If you did not authorize this transaction, please call this number immediately to resolve it. If you know you didn't do the charge and you call the phone number is going to be a scammer, and they're going to try to get into your computer system. They're going to try to take your money, and they're going to try to scam you. It's a scam. They're just trying to get your money. Obviously, you need to not react with fear, because in this instance, you're going to lose more than $1,900 if you react to it. So let's go on to another one. Here's one that I responded to earlier. So this person, it says, does anyone have any possible explanations for this? The weirdest thing happened to me today. I'll change the details for privacy. My mom got a call from an HVAC company in Texas asking for me because they felt that there was a suspicious charge of $925 and wanted to make sure it was coming from me. We live in Colorado. Oh, really? Me too. My mom asked how he got her number. He says he looked my name up on the white pages. We have a somewhat uncommon last name. He gives his name and number so I can call him. There was indeed a $925 pending charge coming from a legit HVAC company in Texas. I tell the guy it's not me, so he reverses the charge and tells me to contact the bank. He did say that the person who spent the money said their name was Andrew, my last name. My husband's name is Andrew, but has a different last name than me. I called the bank and canceled my card, but agreed that the whole situation was weird. It doesn't really seem like an HVAC company was trying to scam me because they reversed the charge. But I wonder why they took the time to look me up on the white pages and tracked me down to verify I made the charge. And I don't know how someone got a hold of my card info and knew my husband's name. I'm feeling creeped out by the whole thing. Well, yeah, you should. Pardon me. I got a hair itching my nose. Okay, so this awesome person called Biz Fraud Cops posted a response. And that response is, yes, indeed. Most likely your credit or bank card was compromised at a store or a gas station. The HVAC company could have received an order for goods instead of services. The HVAC company would then ship or let someone come and pick up the materials per the request of the scammer. You would file a chargeback with the credit card company once you notice the purchase. The HVAC company would be the one that's out the inventory and the costs, and the scammer would sell those materials to other contractors who are also scamming people as well. There are several investigations that are going on regarding this scam, and the perpetrators are using stolen cards to purchase hundreds of thousands of dollars in construction material and then resell that material to make their money. Call the HVAC company and ask them if they have more information on who made the purchase, how, text messages if they received them from the website, etc. Generally, they will get a call or text message, and then the owner or someone at the supply house will email them an invoice to pay it electronically via QuickBooks or other online accounting software. That's where they use the stolen card data that they got from you. If they have a paper trail or text, email thread, or the transactions, you'll be able to see how the fraudulent transaction occurred. My husband is a contractor, and his card was compromised at a gas station in February, and someone made a $19,000 purchase. There were $3,000 increments to stay below the radar, and this was for a flooring company. The card was set up with a $100 notification so that any charges over $100 would automatically notify the card holder. And when the charges came through as pending, I was on the phone. Oops, I said I. Okay, cat's out of the bag. I was on the phone with the owner of the store within seconds while he was still on the phone with the scammer, and he could not believe that I had actually called while the transaction was still going on. The sad thing about the owner of this store is he still did not get it in his thick little noggin that he would have been the one out, the inventory, not my husband, not the credit card company. That's what chargebacks are for. So he would have been out $19,000 in inventory, which would have been a huge hit to his store. Anyways, I didn't write that all in here. So on that note, never, 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 never. Love banks, love them dearly. I have banks. We all use the banks. Don't use your debit card. Your debit card is harder to get the cash that's actually in your bank secured when somebody compromises your debit card. If you have a credit card, it does not hurt your little heart to not have access to that credit, but it hurts your little heart to have access to your cash. So until the bank can prove that you were not negligent with your card and that it's not your fault that you were scammed, you may not get that money back from the bank, even if your debit card is protected against fraud. It's a lot harder. Use a credit card or a prepaid card. So then after I made my post, I came back because I read the last of their post over again. And I said, P.S. They tracked you down because they felt the purchase was weird. It is better for the HVAC company to reverse the charge to you than deal with the merchant account with the chargeback and all the fees related. It puts a bad ding on their account. Okay, had to go let the kitty outside. So here we go. Here's the next one. It says, I need some help. Someone is threatening me to leak my nudes to my family or friends. I'm 18 and look, I know that it dumb of me, yes, it's the way he wrote it, to send my nudes to a stranger on Snapchat. Okay, basically after I got catfished on Reddit, I went over to Instagram. I'm guessing it was a bot account because it was believable that it was an actual person with like 2,000 followers. Like totally. Yeah, I grew up in the 80s. And I added them and then their Snap and sent them my nudes after they sent their fake nudes. So after the dude gets my nudes, he sends me a compilation of screenshots of my nudes, my face, my Insta, and showing me my friend's chat, in which he selected the screenshots of my nudes and said he wanted $300. Then I started talking to him and made a deal with him that I would give him $50 in 2 months. Looked like he was desperate, and so the casual handshake and whatever. Now as of writing this, I have reported the user to Snapchat and unfollowed, blocked, and reported the user on Insta to Reddit. Has already removed that user. What else can I do? Because I really don't know how I can deal with people if this goes out to my family or friends. By the way, after this post in like 2 minutes, some dude messaged me, see here, pic. I'm not going to click on it. And redirected me to this guy on Insta whose account is super bland. He linked another picture, which is why I'm paranoid or something. I don't know. I'm thinking that it's a scam. I'm not going to do anything until someone gives him some solid advice. So nobody has responded. He posted it 15 hours ago. Obviously, people don't care. So look, dude. You're 18 years old. You sent pictures of your little nubby. At this point, don't send him any money. You're just going to instigate, and then you're going to instigate more to try to get the recovery scam going on. Nobody wants to see pictures of your junk. Stop sending pictures of your stuff. You're 18 years old. It's time to act like a grown-up, and let's not be sending around pictures of nudes unless you want to get paid for them. If that's your interest to send your nudes, go to a magazine. Go to try and get a job. Go somewhere where you can get paid for those services of sending pictures of yourself nude. And as a parent, if this happened to my girls, I would be pissed and I would come uncorked and I would go after anybody and everybody who tried to capitalize on them making a mistake. Yes, it's a mistake. You knew it's dumb. You did it anyways. Don't do it again. As far as your family and friends, you know how many people have nude pictures out there on the internet that they can't get back? I know it's crushing. I know it's debilitating. And I know it's something that you can't undo. But if you let it fester and you let it consume your life and just not ignore it and move on, then you're never going to get past this. Your mom saw you naked. Your dad saw you naked. I'm pretty sure your girlfriend or your boyfriend, it sounds like you like guys, so I'm sure your boyfriend saw you naked. So at this point, you're showing yourself naked to people. And if you don't want your other friends to see, don't do it. Otherwise, let your other friends and family know that, hey, somebody got a hold of my account. They may be sending out nudes. You don't know if they're, AI nudes. You don't know if they're you or not. Just head it off at the pass so you don't have to deal with it. I'm not a big fan of Madonna, but whatever. We all have our own choice in music. And one thing that she did back in the 80s was she had nude pictures, and she had pictures with another woman, and she didn't care. Look at her now. She's, living large and doesn't care what pictures she took back in 1985. There you go. Sorry about that. Had to take the headphones off. They started hurting my head. I don't know how you YouTubers use those all the time. Gonna have to get used to that for sure. But in any event, on the poor guy showing his little schmeckle all over the internet. As far as the scam is concerned, don't send them any money. They're just going to continue to blackmail you. And try to refrain from sharing pics with anybody, because it could always end up like this. You're just going to be a constant target for these scammers because you're doing this. And honestly, just head it off at the pass with your family and friends. Let them know that, yeah, you made a mistake, this is out there. Or let them know that, you know, somebody threatened you with this. You don't have to say that you let the pictures out of the bag, but you can just say that somebody's threatening you. So if something pops up, you know, maybe you have something to be proud of. You know, as my mom said, don't sweat the small stuff and move on. On that note, these are my first Reddit readings. I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to do. It depends on if the content's fun or not. But, you know, Nicole is supposed to help with reading some of the Reddit stories as well soon. So we're looking forward to that and can't wait for you guys to see her as well. And please subscribe to our channel. It helps us greatly and we appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your day and we will be back soon.